Hello, welcome to all you lovely Scorpios out there. This is me, Veerle, giving you the monthly horoscope for May 2014. And first of all, thank you so much, you Scorpio. I have so much support of you Scorpios. It's unbelievable. Well, it's not unbelievable. I have my Venus in Scorpio. That's probably why. Venus conjunct Jupiter in Scorpio. I like Scorpios. And mostly they like me as well. But it's so nice to have this support of the likes and the subscribing and the comments as well. Always very comments that are going deep and intense, and I like that. So that's a special thank you, because I'm not doing it to any other sign. Although I like all the signs. But what is happening with the Scorpios for May 2014? There's no eclipse, but your ruler is doing something very important, and also the ruler Venus is doing something very important. And before I forgot, there is a full moon in your sign on the 14th, so around the middle of the month. I only mentioned this with you because it's related to Saturn. So let's start with that. There is this culmination that you probably will feel, especially when you have planets around 23 degrees of Scorpio, because that's where the full moon is going to be. The full moon is going to be at 23 degrees of Scorpio. Now, who's there in Scorpio? Saturn. So this full moon wouldn't be so important if Saturn weren't there. And I know that I've seen a lot of Scorpios that, especially the ones with the Scorpio rising, that are really making huge changes about themselves and their relationships as well, because they're changing so much, and they are maturing, whether they are 20 or 60 or 80, it doesn't matter. There is so much of them that is it's like an elixir. That personality is like going to its core, and they don't like the superficiality anymore. So it can be possible, because of the full moon there, that something happens, something comes to a fruition there around that time, and that also has a reflection on your relationships. So also for the people who have Saturn there around those degrees, it's also a relationship test, because always when you change a lot, if you are in the relationship, that person needs to go with you. Or it's also quite often I've seen with people who are single. So if you are a Scorpio who is single, and with Saturn going over your ascendant, I'm talking about the ascendant now, but also to a lesser extent your sun sign, around 23 degrees, when Saturn is passing that, you attract new people in your life that suit you better, that suit you more. And so I've seen it a lot with people who are single for a long time, Saturn crossing over their ascendant, and then meet new people who are different, but who are more matching to their changed personality. But it's also a testing time for relationships, so either for worse or for good or for bad, but it's a decision time. That's on the background happening. But what I wanted to say here in general is Mars and Venus. What is happening? Mars is in traditional astrology your ruler, and it's going forward as from the 21st of May. Very important. It's in your 12th house, the most hidden house, you could say. And I talked about that in other months, that for the Scorpios, they kind of know how to deal with it, because it's a Scorpio wants to dig deep, and even when it's a bit dark, because they know that there's always an equal of light with the dark. So that process comes to a fruition around certainly the end of the month, with Mars there in your 12th house. So a lot of blind spots, I hope, have been revealed for the Scorpio. So especially with that Saturn also in your sign is accelerating that process actually. So you have known yourself better, then you're making like a peak now. And when Mars will be in your sign, which is not now this month, but that will continue that process. So there's still things going on that you need to see, the unconsciousness or layers there that you need to spot, and that is going on now forwards, because Mars is going forwards. Also because it's your ruler, you will have the sense that you are going forwards again, because we have to be honest, Mars in Libra is not happy, and Mars going backwards in Libra is not very happy. So it means that the Scorpios together with the Aries people have had a time of maybe feeling a bit less energy, and also feeling as, you know, you want to go forwards, but it's held back, and the Scorpios can live with that energy better than the Aries people. But anyway, it's better to go forwards, and that is the case. What else is going on? Simultaneously, Venus is playing a huge role. Why? Because as a lot of astrologers are talking about the Pluto-Uranus square, and it's good that they do, because it's very significant, the Pluto-Uranus square in a nutshell, and I know it's very much in a nutshell, but it's all about transformation, of liberating yourself, of putting off the mask and showing who you truly are, to reach that potential. That's in a nutshell, Pluto-Uranus, always on the background. But when a faster planet, and in this case Venus is a faster planet, when it touches it, it gets activated. Now Venus is a benefic, and it's going to activate that Pluto-Uranus square. But it's in Aries, which is a very independent, martial sign. So Venus in Aries is all about, I want my independence. I want to do it my way. I want to relate to you, but I also want to do my thing. But a very positive thing about this Venus in Aries now is that it's going over that point of the Pluto-Uranus square, around 13 to 14 degrees. It's going to conjunct Uranus in your 6th house, and it's going to square up to Pluto in your 3rd, the way that you think. So changes there in the way that you see the world, the way that you pick up information, but also work, because the 6th house is your day-to-day routine, or maybe health, if it's not work. But there is a very positive thing happening. At 13 to 14 degrees of Aries, there is a fixed star called Alpheratz. Alpheratz is Alpheratz, if you want to look that up. And this is all about, this is a very benefic fixed star, by the way. And the character of that fixed star, it's Venusian. It's the Venus character, so it's a double whammy here. It's Venus in Aries going over Uranus, but it's also Venus going over a fixed star. That all has to do with Venus. And the explanation of that fixed star is fortunate energy, popularity, grace, but also independence. So, and that resonates very well with Venus in Aries. They need independence. And where do you need that for the Scorpios? It's in that 6th house. So a lot of Scorpios, it's now the moment to show what you truly are all about at the work level, in your day-to-day routines. Because Venus and Uranus on that particular star, it's all about grace, it's all about popularity. So maybe you are gaining a bit of popularity when it comes to your work, or maybe you are more becoming true to yourself and doing a job that is all about you, and not about because I have to do, because I have other how do you say that, other responsibilities. I'm doing this work just because it pays the bills, for instance, or just because it's easy. But now there is this opportunity for you Scorpios to do something with work that has to do with work, or that has to do with healing. You know, those axes of 6th and the 12th house are activated, and there is opportunities to heal yourself, to make yourself better. with that Venus and Uranus there. It can come out of the blue because Uranus is a planet that is about sudden events and about unusual events as well. But I think it's good energy, and it has to do with that independent nature of Venus in Aries multiplied by Uranus, of course. And I'm not meaning to say that do whatever you want, it's my way or the highway. That's the negative thing of Venus in Aries. I'm talking about you being very centered, you feeling aligned with the divine and with your higher self, or if you believe in God, feeling aligned with God, and understanding that you have this true opportunity to do what you want and being successful in it, because it's, you know, that fixed star of popularity, of grace, and not that you are going to be I don't know what, but it has nice energy around. And so that's really interesting. A really interesting month for the Scorpios, with that full moon there in your sign and with all this going on. And the last thing I want to talk about is the trine that is happening around the 8th of the month up until the 14th. There is a nice trine between Jupiter and Chiron. This is very healing energy. And so what does it mean? Jupiter, planet of meaning, the planet of spirituality, the planet of expansion, is touching Chiron, which is all about our wounds. And I think for Scorpios, as you are a water sign, this is really, really nice because it trines your sign. So Jupiter in Cancer in your 9th house, about the good vision, about the contact with the higher, with the divine, or with your higher self, you could say. So there is, because of that, or maybe simply because you read something, you see a movie, you read a book, and that opens your view, and that gives you a very warm feeling inside, because this Chiron is in your 5th house of healing, 5th house of self-expression. So very nice watery energy going on at the same time. I think Scorpio is also a sign that is related to healing, and related to going through the bottom and then transforming, and that has this healing effect. So, wishing you a good month, you Scorpios. If you want to read and get in touch, and see you next month. Bye bye.